What's up? It's your boy Sino here. Let's get into it. I saw a lot of people asking me about Death Row East. Like, Sino, what you know about Death Row East? I'm like, what? The Nas song. I'm like, like, what do you want to know about it? Like, I've covered this in the Nas Tupac beef, but I guess we need to go further. You know, because that's all people do now is recycle the same story over and over again. I heard Reggie White basically tell the same stories over and over again to another network. And hey, do what you gotta do, man, to get your money. But I'm like, is he telling the same damn thing again? But yeah, it's what it is now. It's the name of the game. So, no disrespect to him, but I'm just saying, it is what it is. Now, the Nas song that he got on the King's Disease 2, Death Row East, where he starts talking about Death Row East and the situation that went there. And there's a lot of pieces in that song that people don't understand. You guys were young, so I don't blame you for not understanding, but you're getting things confused. When he was saying people was wearing death row chains from his own, like, that was from Queensbridge, that was there. It was not the night that you guys thinking about at the MTV Awards. That was a whole different time period. Pac was gone at that time. You know, this was like, probably Pac had been gone for almost 10 years. This was like 10 years later. So that's why you guys get confused. So I'm here to basically unconfuse you from what you've been told in your own brain. It's not your fault. You're limited to the information of your time. It's different from learning from a book and from somebody who was alive when it happened. And most of you who were alive, some of you were in diapers. So you can't really recall it as well. When this incident happened, when he's talking about Death Row East and the confrontation with Tupac, he was mentioning that situation. And the reason why he's mentioning that situation is because this was a lot of controversy that was going on at the time because people heard the Machiavelli album. And that was the first time they heard really Tupac really going at Nas. And they were like, yo, he going at Nas. Like, Nas is that dude he going at. Like, for real. Like, he's hard on Nas. Like, I don't know what this is, but he's on Nas right now. So when this happened, everything flipped and went upside down. All the plans was flipped. Every plan and idea that people had in place, that was destroyed. So now the new thing was, okay, we got that done. That's in place. Now we got to figure out how we're going to get this thing back on track. Because at that time, Tupac was like bigger than life. Even in death, he was bigger than life. Because Tupac lived like 1 week longer than the MTV Awards. Like, as far as before the incident happened where he was shot. So at the event, everyone goes through the event where things happen words was exchanged between Jungle and Nas, and Tim and Pac speak. They went and got Pac. They talked it out. Nas had to go to present an award, so he had to leave. All of this has been explained, right? They had the words. He said he was going to take it off, want Nas on the One Nation out. So while he's speaking on this is what he was talking about, the tension and how it was going to go down. Because the problem is they was dissing Mobb Deep, which was basically dissing Queensbridge. They was dissing New York. And it was like Death Row versus the East Coast at that time. And it was hot because they chose Mobb Deep. They extended from Bad Boy and went to Mobb Deep. And so they offended Queensbridge. So Nas was the highest selling artist at that time. And he was from the Bridge. He had outsold Biggie's Life After Death. Ready to Die album. So Nas was the head honcho. So the Bridge was holding up Nas. And, Nas rolled with Mobb Deep, so they was like, yo, it's on. It's on. So the Bridge went there deep because they was going to send a message. Y'all ain't coming up in here with all that East Coast, West Coast crap. No, you on the East. And it ain't finna ride. So Pac knew this. Pac came in there deep with all the dudes from Jersey. And he was good. Believe me. And if they came in with 30 or 40, he had 50. Not to mention, hired security from Death Row. Now, what they did have was a karate expert that was from Queensbridge that was with Jungle. And Jungle didn't give a damn. He was just wilding. He didn't care. He was screaming out Mobb Deep. He was nuts. Now, after all of this goes down, Nas come there and everything kind of like calms down. Nas get there, him and Pac talk. Suge shut everybody up and said, look, only people that's going to be talking is these two right here. Everybody else, shut up. And they basically shut up. It was straight up like that. He basically shut everybody up and said, look, everybody else, shut up. Ain't nobody talking but these two right here. So that was that. Now, here's the thing. That goes by, right? Time moves on. Nas actually mentioned that he wanted to point out the fact Stretch did not set Tupac up, which is true. Stretch didn't set Tupac up. They wouldn't have used Stretch to sign. Stretch was literally trying to find out where. They knew where Pac was going to be. Pac knows Stretch didn't set him up. He know that. Because if this is the case, if Stretch set him up and wanted to harm him, Stretch saw him when he came out of the hospital, knew where he was, came over to the house where he said, man, he knew what happened and everything. Pac knew everything before he even went to jail. Pac knew everything when he was in the hospital. He knew why he was hit. He knew everything. Okay? Because when Pac was at Jasmine Guy's house, right? He's recovering over there. They got guns, outlaws, everything. Stretch was coming over there and basically sending messages telling them what they were saying on the other side. Now, Pac knew why he was set up. He knew who did it and why it was done. And the person that set it up wasn't Jack. And he know that. But it was the situation where he was dissing them. And some some certain person who paid and who set it up to pay for him to come and do a song with his artist. That was the person that set it all up. And he know that. He know that. Now, you guys can use Chinese arithmetic to figure out who that person was. But that person is now spending a very long time in prison. So, needless to say, once that happened, if he wasn't who he was, they was like, Stretch only problem was that he was cool with them and he was cool with Pac. You know what I'm saying? He risked his life for Pac before. So it really hurt him when he was like, dude, you turned on me and you working with them, you set me up. And he was like, I never set you up. I would never do nothing like that. He never did, but he was really hurt that he felt that way. Even though he came and saw you plenty of other times while you was hit, you know, and was giving you information on what was going on the other side. And he was basically keeping them from retaliating against you. Again, because it wasn't supposed to go down like that. It was supposed to just be a robbery. They weren't supposed to hit him. But Pac went for a weapon, hit himself in the leg, and that's what caused them to just start firing. He hit himself in the privates, going to pull for one of his Glocks. Which, when it went off, then they just start firing. Bop, 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 bop. So, after that, that's when all the nonsense went down. Pac was never supposed to be hit. It was supposed to be, we taking your jewels, stripping you down to everything, to strip your ego down, because you had too much mouth and you felt too prideful. So let's take your jewels, let's jack you, and show you how powerless you are. That's what they wanted to do to Pac, to send a message, because he was just, Pac could not be controlled for nobody. He don't care what your status was. Pac does not move like that. It was shocking to people because they're used to people who, Pac didn't fear death. And a man who don't fear death ain't gonna be afraid of you. People was afraid of Jack and all the rest of these people. They was afraid of them. So it was a different feel altogether dealing with that situation. It was entirely different. So now you know you was into something really deep. Okay? So once that happened, they knew they were in for it. They was trying to cover their tracks. So they was definitely not trying to make a move on him. But they were saying, look, don't cause no mess behind this. Okay? Nothing's gonna happen to you. We're not coming for you. Okay? We done. Let it be done. All right? Don't try to make it worse. As that was the only message they kept trying to relay over to Pac. Look, so that whole message, when they sent it back to him, like, look, tell him, don't go to war, man, unless he got his money right. Tell him to chill. You know, because everything is cool. We not coming for him. So they was over there sending the message back, and he kept bringing it to Pac, like, look, they good. They not coming for you. They wasn't supposed to go down that way. So they was like, how he know all that? How he know what they saying? So if he was snitching, he could have told them where Pac laying his head, if that was the case. If it was on like that. But it wasn't. They were done. There was nothing else to be done about the situation. They was done. They wanted to send a message. They glad he's alive. He's not gone. It would have caused so many problems for them. But he's good alive. He's going to survive. He's going to be good. They was done. It was over. But he kept talking. And he did that interview from prison. And he wouldn't shut up. And he said, just in case I ain't here no more, I want people to know the record gonna be out there. It's the truth gonna be out there. What happened to me and whatever. He just wanted to be out there. So now people are looking at them funny in New York. Like people that was riding with him, with Pac. And Pac had that support. And he didn't even know it. Because he was, once that was done and all his time, and he went back out to the West Coast, he didn't really realize how much love he had people in the New York and the East Coast, besides Tretch them, that wanted to see him win. You know, there was a lot of people, Midwest, everywhere, they wanted to see him win. He was their champion. Like, they loved this dude. You know what I'm saying? Pac was loved. He didn't really recognize that. He didn't really know that because he was so paranoid and thinking everybody was out. Everybody guilty. He even blamed Andre Harrell. I'm like, Andre Harrell? And the only reason he blamed Andre Harrell because Andre Harrell really blocked him from being on, New York Undercover. Because he basically was too controversial and all that. So he kind of lied to him on that. So he just threw Andre Harrell name in it because he saw him up there with Puff. And then when he came in the thing, he was just like, everybody was shocked that he walked in and he just blamed Puff. He blamed everybody around. But he paranoid. I mean, you don't know who's all involved. Hell, y'all all guilty. The way he looking at it. But Stretch didn't have anything to do with that. He didn't. His only guilt was being friends with both sides. And that basically, when that went down, it was like, oh, you was in on it too. That's just how it looked at him. But he didn't do that to Pac. For those who wanted to know. Rest in peace to both guys. But just so the record can be known, he didn't do that to him. He didn't. So people can rest easy on that. Don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe to the page if you're new here. And don't forget, man, the Cash App is Carceno, Karceno. And definitely the Super Chat works. You guys know it. Thank you for the guys who hit it up already. I appreciate it. Sean Blast. Now, oh, definitely. It's a lot of stuff going on. I'm glad you all liked the power breakdown that I did yesterday. Took time to do that. YouTube, for some reason, they screwed up. We was doing the birth of Christianity, the truth behind Christianity, and all that stuff, part 4, and that just went. Would not let it load, nothing. So I guess they was waiting on me. So we're gonna try to do it again tonight. And man, I'm like, they really got it in for me. But all right, I'll see what y'all on. Now, let's get to the other part of the song, of the Death Row East. When he was talking about other dudes from Queens that was rocking the Death Row chain, right? And what he was talking about was 10 years later, Lake, who was cool with Nas, Lakey the Kid, he signed with Death Row East. With big, what's his name? Delvon. He was the vice president or president of Death Row East back in 2000 and I want to say 2005. I want to say then. It was 2005, around that time. So Suge came out to New York and he met Cormega, he met Lakey the Kid, and at that time there was a lot of friction with Nas and Lake, because what he was saying by that is when Nas had beef with Cormega and he had beef with basically Prodigy, The Bridge, a lot of dudes from The Bridge, and Jay-Z, the person he linked up with was Lake. You know what I'm saying? So that was basically his protection. Because Lake had just came home. And once he came home, he was like, all right, I'm hearing all the noise. Mobb Deep's supposed to be all this and all that. And Lake was the guy that, him and Sherm and all those guys, and Spanky and all those guys, they were the real Queensbridge, getting it in. So they was some legends. They were the guys putting in all that work that everybody rapping about. So Lake come home, he was like, look, y'all dudes done got fat and off our backs and ate and had a plate. We want to eat. Put your guys on. And the same thing basically that happened with P kind of happened with Nas. Nas just separated himself real quick. And that's what he normally do. And, he wanted to go sit down and have a meeting with Donnie whatever his name is. And he wanted Nas to be there. But Nas is like, look, these dudes they trying to basically extort Nas to be on all the records and stuff that they doing and use Nas' name. Y'all showed him how to set up his own label when he put out the on 41st side. And he got on the song with him. He put Lake on a song with his. He got on Lake record, and Lake was like the new guy. And that's when Cormega was coming like, Lake can't save you, Lord, to just fold. Big's last words was, you lost it, Holmes. So Mega was coming after him. So he needed some reinforcements. Then at that time, Nas was going through a transition. Lake was with him, and that was like 2000. So for 3-4 years, Lake is trying to get his thing going, and he's a guy from the streets. And when you're from the streets, you don't have time to wait and let things develop. You've been locked up all this time. You want to go. We hot. We need to go. Why we ain't signed the Ill Will Records? Like, what's going on? I produced this record 41st side, you know what I'm saying? I put out all these artists, the songs and all that, you know what I'm saying? Well, we need to be pushing more work, more product. Come on, man. We need to get this going. Now, Lake didn't know the record business like the back of his hand. You know what I'm saying? And the guy who run Dun Diva, Felon Magazine, who had Nas out there because he was with Lake, and, you know what I'm saying, Big Dell, he was locked up with Lake, so they relate. And all of these things was going on. Lake was still connected to the street side. Nas had Khalees in his ear at the time. And she was gaining more control over his life as their relationship was going to the next level. Even though it was causing rifts within the relationships he had with his people. So, at that time, Lake was getting frustrated with Nas. And was talking about, actually robbing him. So, when all these situations was happening, Lake is like, dude, you must want me to go to jail. You want me to be dead or in jail or something, because why you ain't doing what's for me, you know what I'm saying, all these things that's right there on the table for me. And the other brave hearts feel the same way. Like, why they ain't on? Like, what's going on here? So Lake is calls it like, because he just came home. they've been dealing with this since Uchiwali. You know, they got no money basically from the Uchiwali song. Nas owned the publishing. So all the Uchiwali money was going to Nas. You know, and they was just getting per diem. And they was like, hey man, look, we ain't signed. You know, this is why Horse left. Horse was like, look man, if I ain't getting signed, there's no Ill Will Records. At that time, it was no Ill Will Records. They ain't making no money. Horse just retired. Horse is like, I'm done. You know, I can just get a job. And that's what he did. He went and got married and just, you know, started taking care of his family. He had more money than the dudes that's going out rapping. He had more money than Wiz and Nation. And he was having a 9 to 5. They just get to ride with Nas and roll with him on tour and do all this stuff, but Nas is getting the money. So Lake saw that and he knew right away that ain't gonna ride with him. So naturally, changes were made. Then Quan comes home around 2004. Then Nas started working with and gravitating to Quan, which really pissed off Lake. How dare you have put Quan on a record and you ain't got me on there? So, you know, that really pissed him off. And they had the song For a Moment, which went like, that song went like damn near through the charts. And Nas is on songs with him, doing freestyles on the radio with Quan. And he wasn't dealing with Lake. Then, here comes the sweep of Queens. The feds in January of 2005 did their usual sweep, and they went and caught all these drug lords who basically was watching The Wire and following all the stuff they saw on The Wire, and they were like, these dudes watch too much TV. These dudes are idiots. And caught all of them. Like, it was a big sweep, and everybody thought Lake was going to go down with him. So, it was a massive thing. See, Nas knew to keep his distance because Lake was still connected to the streets, and that was going to leak back on him, and Khalees was kind of keeping Nas away from Queensbridge. So, she was like, that's why he had the song, I'm not going back. Streets keep trying to say, come back around this way. I've already been that way. I won't go back again. I'm not going back. The hood is in me forever, y'all. But I'm not going back. I'm not going back to those old friends of mine. I'm not going back to won't help me if they could. Always up to no good. I'm not going back to. So if you want to know why all of this happened, he kind of explained it in Not Going Back. I'm not going back. There's all that stuff there because he didn't want to go back to that. All the nonsense, all the ignorance that the people was holding on to. Like, I think there's a music video for that. Or somewhere. He's not even in Queensbridge. Like, they got Queensbridge, like, airbrushed behind him or something. Like, green screen or something. It's crazy. But even 50 Cent was like, man, why you gotta, like, screen, like, green screen Queensbridge? Why you can't go back to Queensbridge and just film the video? You Nas. So 50 know how to mess with you. But that's who he was talking about on there. And that happens like 10 years apart. But a lot of the way he tells the story, it seems like it happens all at one time. So in case you guys were confused, now you guys have the backstory to it. And that's just me talking off my head. So, to tell you, I'm in the car right now outside the damn store I'm about to go into. So, that just goes to tell you. Of how much of history of knowledge this is. Like, this is known already. It's no big rocket science to this. This is documented fact. And the fact you don't know it is not your fault. You're limited to the information of your time. This happened before your time, so you wouldn't know. Man, that was quick. Shoot, I'm trying to do what she just did. I'm like, man, she just pulled up. And she back coming out already. That's what I'm talking about. That's progression. That's what I'm gonna try to do right now. Go in and come out. So, don't forget to like the page, subscribe to your boy's page, Carcino for Life. The Patreon is Carcino for Life. Definitely check that out tonight. Part 4 is too explosive. I'm thinking YouTube's having a little problem putting it out there. But I'm gonna get it out there today. Do my thing. Know what I mean? So
attention IRT numbers, department 00, department
we'll take care of it the way it's supposed to be. Know what I mean? But that's Death Row East. Anything else, any other questions, y'all can leave it in the comment section. You know, I was gonna do this on Patreon, but I'm giving y'all the Birth of Christianity part 4, so that should be more than enough. So I'm just buying some stuff for the house, you know. Gotta get my little pans and stuff. Look at all this. Boom. Air baked pizza pan. I don't like the little air baked pan. Grab me a little wok. Wok Keyshaw. Get me a wok. I don't even cook and I'm grabbing a wok. What this is what I do need though. Grab one of these little pizza pans. Woo! Look at this. They ain't trying to jump and attack your boy, Cino. Y'all got stuff out here trying to attack your boy. Alright, I see y'all trying to do me. Y'all thought I was play pimp. Boom. Alright. Do I need some for cupcakes? I don't make no damn cupcake. I'm having some people over. Maybe they can cook some damn cupcakes. I wouldn't mind having some chocolate chip cookies. Good, I can get this cookie sheet down. That works. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to let y'all go. So don't forget, my Cash App is Carcino, K-A-R-C-E-N-O, for those who don't know. Super Chat works. Love, peace, and hair grease. I'm gonna be in here grabbing some stuff I need. Oh yeah, and choke is still a joke. You're a joke, dude. Nobody respects you.